All right, so let's talk about how I routinely record a month worth of YouTube videos in a single day and how this is perfect for busy entrepreneurs. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, I own this million subscriber YouTube channel, makes multiple six figures per month. You can see just from AdSense alone, it makes about a 71,000 a month. And on top of that, I have other channels and I've helped a bunch of people grow and make money on their YouTube channel. Okay. So in many cases with this channel, a lot of people think that a lot of people that I encounter in many cases, they come up to me and they think that I must spend like 80 hours a week working on this channel. And the truth is I actually only spend about less than 4 hours a week on the channel, or I only have to spend less than 4 hours a week to maintain the channel. And the reason is because I can record a month worth of YouTube videos in a single day. And I've actually done it several times. In fact, I've done more than a month's worth. Now, on this channel, I upload 3 times a week, but a lot of channels out there, maybe it's only 2 times a week or once a week. So it's even easier for you if you don't upload that much. And I've actually recorded 18 videos in a single day twice for this channel. I've done it actually twice. There's been a few times when I've gotten up to around the 15 mark as well. And then there's been many times where I've recorded 12 videos in a single day for this channel. Now, typically, I like to do about 6 to 8 videos a day. I think that's just nicer because I can do other things. But if I really have to, if I can get in a pinch, I can record 12 videos in a single day for the channel. And let's talk about exactly how I do that. So step 1, icon method. This is something I've talked about in other videos. There's videos on the channel where I go over exactly how to use the icon method. But what you do is you come up with 12 sustainable video ideas using the icon method. The icon method in a nutshell, guys, this is just a very simple way of stating it, is you find a bad video, okay? So it has to be a bad video. Okay, bad. So it has to be a bad video, right? Check mark. From a small channel. Okay, small channel, check mark. That got a lot of views. So a lot of views. Okay, that is the icon method, right? So you find a bad video from a small channel that got a lot of views. And what you're trying to do here is find a video idea. And the idea isn't necessarily the same thing as the title, although the title expresses the idea. You can have an idea with about 500 different angles and make 500 different titles. But the idea is the thing that's important, right? And you want to find an idea that has a starving crowd of people. That's essentially the icon method, because everything else is going to be so much easier if you find that idea. You don't have to make a super amazing, unbelievable, incredible video if you just have an idea that people give a shit about, right? And so that's the important part. So you find a bad video from a small channel that has a lot of views. Okay. And because of these things, if you know it's a bad video, you know that the reason this video did well is because of the idea. So you steal the idea and nothing else. That's the only thing you steal is the idea. All right. That's the icon method. So you come up with 12 sustainable video ideas using the icon method. Right. And what I like to do is I like to store those in a Google Doc. I'll have Google Docs where I'll just screenshot videos that look like they might be good candidates. I'll literally just look up keywords. I'll type the keyword in on YouTube, and I will screenshot videos that look like they might be a good candidate. So I'll actually just go ahead and do this really quickly with you. So let's just type in, I don't know, like Kindle Direct Publishing, something like that. This is one of my clients' niches right here. And you can see this is vidIQ right here. So vidIQ kind of gives you a little bit of information, okay, this is doing 100 times better than usual. So this girl's channel, actually, like right away, this is actually quite good. So this girl's channel, 56K subs, again, according to vidIQ, 361K views. And it looks like, the thumbnail is pretty mediocre. This thumbnail doesn't look that good. A lot of different colors. She's using 3 different colors here. It's an okay thumbnail. Her face isn't that well lit or in focus. This looks okay. I would probably screenshot this one just because it did get a lot of views. She doesn't have that many subscribers. The ratio here is like, 8 to 1 or something like that. So I'd probably screenshot that one. This one right here is a very bad thumbnail. Okay, her face is almost not visible at all. The sideways, the diagonal text is awful. Never do that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words in the thumbnail. That's awful. That's really bad. And she's got 132K subs, so that's actually quite a few subs. So that's not as good. But yeah, this one might be a maybe as well. So I'll just keep going until we find one that's just like an absolute no-brainer. Here we go. Okay, this is an absolute no-brainer. Okay, 1.5K subs, 55K views. Okay, that is a 30-to-1 ratio, something like that. And the thumbnail itself, a picture of her. The face is pretty small. Yeah, this is not a great thumbnail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, 7, and then there's like a 7th, an 8th, and a 9th word. 9 words. That's an example of a really, really bad thumbnail. It's not like the worst thumbnail in the world, but 9 words is way too many. Like, you can't have that many words on your thumbnail. Also, the title is just a absolute word salad. So this is actually like a relatively bad thumbnail and title. And then if you click on the video itself, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's an okay video. It kind of looks like the background is like her hair is a little blurry and the background's blurry. But yeah, the video itself is okay. It doesn't look like it has really any fancy editing and stuff like that. So this would be a pretty good example because the ratio here. And this is especially good if you're just starting off your channel, right? So that's the icon method. I've made other videos going over it in more detail. So I would screenshot those and I would put them in a Google Doc. And then after I got, I don't know, maybe 30 of them, I would choose my 12 favorites. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2, holy trifecta, thumbnail, title, intro. Now, the holy trifecta is the thumbnail, the title, and the intro. That is what the holy trifecta is. And the reason that it is a holy trifecta and the reason why you should do it together is because those 3 things are, for 1, very important, but for 2, they need to be congruent with each other. You can't have a thumbnail that is basically giving one emotion and a title that's giving a different emotion, right? You want the thumbnail and the title to be congruent with each other. And then same thing with the intro. If the thumbnail and the title give a certain impression or a certain emotion, and the intro is the opposite of that, that's going to be a bad thing as well. So the one that I see all the time is you'll have a thumbnail that has like a negative or like a shocked face or something like that. And then the title is, my favorite pieces of software for XYZ, right? My favorite pieces of software for YouTube automation or something like that, right? And that doesn't make any sense because it's a shocked face. It's a negative face. Why would a negative face be associated with a video that's like my favorite pieces of software? It doesn't make any sense, right? So congruence is very important, and it's important to do this first. Okay, so do this first. Now, you don't necessarily have to make the thumbnail because that can be somewhat time consuming, and there's a good chance that you'll have somebody else make it. You can hire somebody on Fiverr, for instance, to do that. In my coaching program, we actually hire people for them. We hire script writers, video editors, thumbnail designers, etc., and we give them our Rolodex of ones that we think were really good. But yeah, basically you do this first. And the reason you want to do this first is because you want to have a good idea and a good direction to make things congruent before you start writing the script and before you make the video. Because this is going to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If you're doing it yourself, obviously you want to be on the same page with yourself and you want to have a good plan. But especially when you hire like a video editor, or a thumbnail designer, or a script writer, you want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And the easiest way to do that is to just do these first, because they're going to kind of get an idea of the vibe of the video and sort of the brand of the video that you're trying to go for when you do that, right? So at least come up with a thumbnail idea. Come up with the title idea. It doesn't have to be the final one, but then also come up with a intro. Okay, just a short intro. Again, it doesn't have to be the final one. You can always change it down the line, but I always like to do this first. Step 3, write 12 scripts and or outlines. And if you are really strapped for time, guys, you can just write bullet points. Okay, so especially if you are an expert at something, or even if you're not an expert, but you're kind of an intermediate, you can make a video that's just like a listicle video, like 7 mistakes that I made doing Amazon KDP. And then you literally just write a few bullet points and talk about mistakes that you made. And you can talk off the top of your head about that, right? All you got to do is just look at your bullet points. Once you're done with number one, you look at number two, talk off the top of your head. Look at number three, talk off the top of your head, et cetera, right? And then maybe 7 most important lessons that I learned becoming a successful Amazon KDP business owner, right? Something along those lines. You can make them very simple just by doing bullet points. The second, that's if you're really strapped for time, right? But that actually works relatively well. It actually does work relatively well. For instance, this video is basically bullet points, right? I have the steps, and I look at the steps, and then I just basically talk about them off the top of my head. And I could do that because I'm an expert on the subject, and I've been helping people to do this for years now. So it's quite easy for me to talk about this stuff off the top of my head, and I'm very confident that my system works. So this is one thing you can do. A slightly more advanced version is making an outline. Okay. So you make an outline for the video. And that is where it's like bullet points, but you fill in a little bit more than the bullet points. So for instance, you might say the 7 mistakes that I made. And the first mistake for Amazon KDP is, I don't know, having somebody else that's not good write your book. Okay. I'm just making that up. But then you actually write the exact story with the details to remind yourself to tell that story. And then maybe you also remind yourself to tell the story of somebody else that you've worked with, right? It just makes it a little bit easier and a little bit better if you add those details in. It takes a little longer to do this, but it can just be a slightly nicer if you add those details in. And you can get help with AI to do this. The AI that I highly recommend doing is Claude. Claude is phenomenal when it comes to writing. ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. Some of the other ones do better with other types of tasks. But when it comes to writing, Claude is an absolute monster. And I absolutely love Claude. So you can actually have Claude help you out with the outline. Quite easy to use those prompts. And just like even just to make up a prompt. We do have a master list of prompts that we use in our business for different types of formats of videos. And we do share those with our clients. But for the most part, it's actually quite easy to make up some pretty good prompts using Claude. In fact, you can even just explain what you're doing and then ask it to make up a prompt for you that'll give it the correct context to make the best outline. And then, of course, you have an actual script. Now, a script, we're going to go over 2 different ways of presenting the script. So you can present it with a teleprompter. That is one way of doing it. And you can also present it with a Google Doc. I'm going to tell you both of these ways. Okay. But first of all, the script, I highly, highly recommend using Claude to help you write the script, or a script writer, having a script writer. Of course, it's a good idea to do it yourself for a short period of time, just so you kind of understand how it works. But eventually you want to have either Claude or a script writer write the bulk of it. You can write kind of the core of it. Maybe you write the outline, and then you have AI turn the outline into a full-length script. But yeah, very time consuming if you do it yourself. And again, if you're strapped for time, you definitely want to utilize AI to help you. Now, teleprompter is one way to deliver it. Teleprompter, in case you're not aware, I'll have one like pop up on the screen, but basically what you see is the script, and what the camera sees is you. So the camera doesn't see the script, but you're looking right at the camera, and you see the script. And you basically you can read the script word for word if you want to with the teleprompter. Now, that takes some practice so that you don't sound robotic, okay? Because it is very easy to sound robotic if you are constantly reading things with a teleprompter. I do use a teleprompter on my main channel. On this channel, I usually don't use a teleprompter. I think there's a few videos where I did, but on this channel, I don't really use a teleprompter. Another thing that I did for a very long time is I actually just used a Google Doc. And basically what I did is I had the Google Doc just off to the side of my camera, and the camera was right in front of me, right? And then I had a Google Doc just off to the side, and it was actually at the same eye height as my camera. And the reason for that is because I found that if it's down here, I would just constantly be looking down. Whereas if I look off to the side, it kind of looks like more natural. Sometimes you might even put the script like up and to the left or something, just because it looks more natural to look up than it does to look, like down like this, right? People just be able to tell that you're looking at a script if you're looking down. So you can kind of put it at the same eye level or maybe even a little bit higher off to the side. And instead of reading things word for word, like on teleprompter, I usually do read things nearly word for word. With the Google Doc method, I basically just read the sentence, I get the idea of the sentence, and then I just say the sentence in my own way. And it does come across, it's a little easier to sound natural with this method, quote unquote, just because you're not saying the sentence exactly. You're saying the same idea of the sentence. You're getting the same idea across, but you just say it in your own words. So it's easier to sound natural with this method. Whereas with the teleprompter, you do have to practice sounding natural. It is something that you just need to practice for a little bit. But with that being said, you're going to write 12 scripts and or outlines. And then the next step, which I kind of got ahead of myself here, is to record 12 videos 3 at a time. So this is what I like to do. Record 12 videos 3 at a time. And the reason I like to do 3 at a time is because it's just a really nice cadence, okay? You record 3 videos, like let's say you wake up in the morning, record 3 videos, then maybe, I don't know, you eat breakfast or something, right? Take a little bit of a break after that, record 3 videos, then you eat lunch, right? Take a little break after that, record 3 videos, then you eat dinner. Take a little break after that, record three videos, and then you're good to go. You go to sleep, right? So it's just a good cadence to just do 3 at a time. If you try to do like 1 at a time, it's tough to get through 12 videos in a day, right? So that's basically how it's done. And this is a way that you can actually do it. Now, one thing I will say is you want to make sustainable content. And what I mean by sustainable is there's certain types of videos that are actually extremely energy draining to make. An example of this would be like a challenge video or, some types of tutorial videos where you have to be really dialed in and really explain everything in great detail. And you have to actually know, if you're doing a tutorial on a piece of software, like you really need to spend some time to get to know the software. So that's like extremely energy draining. Whereas there's certain types of videos that aren't nearly as energy draining. And really, you want to pay a lot of attention to the format of your video. There's some types of videos that I could just do all day long. Listicles are quite easy to do all day long, especially if it's like opinion-based listicles, like 7 mistakes I made growing my YouTube channel, right? Listicles, you could do those all day long. How-tos, generally speaking, if I'm an expert on the subject, how-tos are quite easy because I'm an expert on the subject. These types of videos where I'm kind of just explaining something, like how I did something, quite easy because it's not just a how-to, but you're explaining like literally how you did it. So it's not like this is the best way of doing it. You're saying this is how I do it, right? So it's quite easy to make a video like that because you're just telling them the truth. Like this is how I do it. Whereas if you're saying this is the best way to do it, then it gets a little more complicated because there's a lot of other ways they could be done, potentially. So yeah, those types of videos, for everyone, it's going to be a little bit different, but these types of videos are quite sustainable. Another one that I really like is case studies. So one really great way to do case studies is you interview the person, right? So you interview the person and then you basically interweave their story and your own dialogue into the interview that you did with them. So this is a great way of doing case studies. I've done a few of those on this channel. And this can be, a very realistic way of how you can literally record 1 month worth of content in a single day. Now, for these first 3 steps, you can very easily have someone else do it, okay? So you can have someone else do it. For the last step, if you are a personal brand, of course, you have to do it yourself, right? So this is DIY, do it yourself. This is, you can have someone else do it. So it's done for you, okay? So you can just if you have a system set up right, you wake up and you got 12 videos ready. You told them when you want them ready, and there's 12 videos ready. This is what always happens with me. And then, one weekend out of the month, I record all 12 videos and boom, I'm done for the rest of the month. And that bada bing, bada bang, that's it. Right. So all of this can be done for you if you set up the system the correct way. And this is exactly what we help people do. Okay. We help people set up these systems so it doesn't take them a ton of time. Not only do we help people make a ton of money with YouTube, but more importantly, we help them to basically do like YouTube automation, like automate YouTube so that it doesn't take up all their time, because most people are spending way too much time on YouTube and it's just way too much of a headache, right? And so if you want to learn exactly how to do this, I have a 45-minute strategy session that you can have with myself or my team. And in this strategy session, we will, one, go over, like, diagnose your problems, go over what your current situation is and diagnose what problems you have. Two, tell you how you can actually, figure out what you want, like what do you actually want to do and what is possible for you to do, right? So figure out where you want to go. So one was find your current situation. Two is figure out what your desired situation is. Three, we'll figure out if we are the right people to work with you to get from your current situation to your desired situation. And four, we will also tell you what we think you should do to get there as well. So basically a plan for the next 3 to 6 months. So whether or not we end up working together, this will be the most valuable 45 minutes that you probably have when it comes to business consultation this year. So definitely check that out. It'll be a link down in the description and the pinned comment below, and we'll see you there.